To start off with, do you mind telling me a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Nenad Marovac from DN Capital. So we're a venture capital and growth investor focused on Europe and the US. So we do 80% of our investments in Europe, focused on Germany, UK, and Sweden, Finland, and then 20% Silicon Valley. And we invest in software, digital media, e-commerce, and mobile. So one of our early investments is a company called Shazam in the mobile space, very well known. And then in Germany, we've made 4 investments so far. And companies like Mr. Specs, Vinland.de, Just Book, and Scarozzo, the shoes I'm wearing right now.
And what area do you think is most exciting in the startup scene at the moment?
Where?
Sorry?
Where?
In Germany?
Well, in Germany, you know, and I said it today before when I was on the panel, I mean, Germany's really been strong in e-commerce, and which I think is great, but e-commerce is also not the most scalable types of businesses. So I would like to see more software and digital media type plays coming out of Germany. I guess Wooga is a good example of one that has come out of here, and I think that's much more of an interesting investment from a investor perspective.
And on that note, what are 3 great companies you see coming out of Germany?
Well, I'm very biased here. Vinland.de, which is one of our companies in Munich, which is e-commerce for moms from minus 9 months all the way to 3 years old for the baby. Fastest growing company we've ever invested in our history. So that's one. I'll take an unbiased view and you know, obviously look at Wooga. I think Wooga is very interesting. And then, you know, I don't know whether you call SoundCloud a German company or a Swedish company, but I think it's very interesting. And then, of course, Mr. Specs, which is also one of our investments here in Germany.
And do you only do investments, or do you provide advice and sort of time for startups as well?
Well, they go hand in hand. I mean, all these companies need a lot of help in terms of building out their management team, strategy, fundraising, and then also exit. And that's something that we're very focused on, and we've done a lot of them. So that's something we usually help all our companies with.
Which company are you working with the most at the moment?
I'm working most with Shazam right now. So Shazam is one of my early investments, and we just recently put in a new CEO. So getting Rich on board, now working with him on building out the rest of the team, the strategy, etc. So that's really taking a lot of my time right now. But then in Germany, you know, I work with Vinland. We put in Jacqueline last year into the company, who's the 3rd most senior manager. And then with Mr. Specs last year, we helped bring in a very interesting strategic investor to the company through our network, and also working with them on potentially expanding outside of Germany.
And are you living in Germany or in the US?
Good question. I have a flat in London, and I spend a lot of time in Berlin and Munich, and then also a little bit in Sweden and Silicon Valley. You know, the one thing that's amazing about Berlin is the deal flow. I mean, there's just so many companies raising money, and very interesting companies. So it's really going through them all and figuring out which ones are the most interesting. But there's a lot, especially in e-commerce. I mean, you know, unbelievable. Yeah.
And just generally the best business advice you've ever been given is?
Not every good company is a good investment. So we have to be disciplined on pricing, and you know, our goal is to make a great return for our investors, and that's what we're here to do. So, you know, some companies are fantastic, but it's too late or it's too expensive, and great, someone will make money on it, but it won't be us.
Great. Well, thanks for talking to us, and I really hope you enjoy the rest of Eureka.